Welcome to Fix It Faust. The backlight on my fog light has started to flicker. The backlight draws power from your DLRs by tapping into the wire through this T connector. The problem with these is if you compress that connection too much, you can cut through your whole wire. I decided to remove my front bumper and headlights so I could access the wire harness better. First, turn this plastic screw so the line is parallel with the ground, and then you're going to take a little screwdriver and pry that out. Use a 10mm socket to remove this bolt holding the fender flare on. I actually end up removing another one just above that to make it a little easier to get the bumper off. So just reaching under the fender and pushing these little tabs towards the front of the truck. Release these two 10mm bolts. Using a tab puller, remove these two tabs. I found it easier to remove the grill by pulling on one side first and then going to the other side and pulling that side. Release these 6 tabs. Release either side of the bumper. There we go. And I just wanted to mention when you're pulling the bumper out here, when you're pulling it out of these clips, you really have to leverage the bumper so that you're pulling it directly out so it actually releases off of these clips. Otherwise you'll end up snapping this whole little bracket off. On the driver's side you can see the remnants of the black bracket hanging on to the headlight bolt, completely sheared off there. I ended up gluing it back together so it held the bumper in place. Unscrew the 3 bolts holding the headlight in. Toward the center of the headlight, there's this little plastic clip that needs to be released to get the headlight completely out. Every video I ever seen of everyone removing a headlight, they just kind of pull it out, but I didn't want to go and break another plastic clip, so I used this plastic trim tool to release the clip. Disconnect the 6 wire harness connectors on the headlight. Next, remove the wire from the connector. This came with the Diode Dynamics fog lights. Just going to use a small flathead to pry this open. It's like wedged in there, huh? Thinking it like bit down on it. Oh, there it goes. Oh, these are so tiny. Using a small pair of wire cutters, carefully cut down the middle of this black outer wire cover to gain easier access to the wires. Remove the T-tap connector with a pair of cutters. Remove a couple inches of the mesh wire loom. I just use these wire cutters to score the mesh a little bit, and then I went back with these tiny snips to get it the rest of the way off. There's probably a better way to do it, I'm not aware of it. Once you have the mesh loom removed, you're going to remove about an inch or a little more of the blue wire insulation from the Diode Dynamics wire. Give it a good twist. So tiny. I don't know. Already like cut in half. Look at that, no wonder. So I end up cutting it the rest of the way. My original plan was just to remove the insulation and then tap into the wire that way, but this probably worked out better in the long run. There's not much room to work with. I ended up removing the pin from the wire connector, and to do that you want to take a pair of needle nose pliers, remove that center plastic piece that's white, and then you'll use a small screwdriver to release the plastic clip that is holding the pin in place. Just giving you a better idea what that pin looks like once it's out. I wanted to do this to give myself a little more wiggle room when soldering the wires together. Okay, so first thing you want to do is get your shrink wrap, put it over your OE wire, your OEM wire. So then that's in place, and then what I did was I just took the dynamic diode wire and then my extending wire that I'm adding, and then I just lined them up and then twist them together nice and tight. And then you'll take the OE wire harness and connect that to here, make an X, and you're gonna twist them around each other like so. And then you'll do the same with this side. You should have around like 3. I didn't make this long enough, but you should wrap around each side around 3 times. Make sure you apply electronic rosin flux to your wires. That'll help the solder flow a lot better between each wire fiber. I don't show it on this connection, but after I'm done soldering, I cleaned it up with a little isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of any corrosive materials that would be on there after soldering, and to help the liquid tape that I'm about to apply adhere a little better. If you're using heat shrink lined with adhesive, you probably can forego the liquid tape. I just wanted to make sure I'm not going to have any water get in there and corrode my wires over time. I applied 3 layers of liquid tape. Once that dries, you're going to slide your heat shrink over. I got 3-to-1 heat shrink wrap. That way it shrinks down a little more, so I have a tighter fit when I have 2 wires going in and 1 wire coming out. The other connection, again, make sure you're sliding your shrink wrap on before you twist your wires together. So then these, because the pin side and was so short, I just did it this way. I didn't want to do like a lineman splice. So you just have them all spread apart, line them up, and then you're just gonna twist them together. I'm gonna try and get them like as much as you can. So we're just twisting together here. Apply your rosin flux to your wires prior to soldering. Make sure you're applying the heat to the bottom of the wire, and then you're applying your solder to the top. That way the solder flows through the wires better. I had a couple frayed wires that were sticking out, so I'm just using a pair of needle nose to help smooth that out so it doesn't poke through my insulation. Use alcohol to clean up any residual rosin flux that may be on your wire or your insulation. Use a microfiber towel to help dry the wire and the insulation prior to applying the liquid tape or your heat shrink. Apply 2 to 3 coats of liquid tape, waiting for it to dry between each coat. Once your liquid tape is dry, slide your heat shrink over the wire and use a heat gun or a lighter to shrink it. Reinstall the pin into the connector. You'll hear it click into place. Don't forget to reinstall the center white clip that retains the pins in that black wire connector. This is what it looks like when it's installed. I don't know why I chose not to record that. Apply some electrical tape around the black wire housing that was cut to access the wires a little better. Connect your wire connectors to your headlight. Make sure you slide your headlight back into that black plastic clip towards the bottom center. Install the 3 screws holding the headlight in place. Next, you'll press each side of your bumper back into those plastic clips. press your fender flare clips back into place. Line up your fender flare and your fender liner, then insert this plastic screw, and you want it facing in the vertical position. Reinstall the metal screw into the fender liner and flare. Reinstall the 6 plastic push clips to hold the front of the bumper in place. Put the grill back on, starting with the clips on the bottom, and carefully pressing in and working your way up to the sides. Install the 2 plastic push clips. Install and snug these 2 10mm bolts up, and then you're done.
If you found this video helpful, please like and hit the subscribe button. Follow for future content. See you on the next one.